afternoon. Thank you so much for joining this slow, relaxing flow on this Sunday afternoon. If you can come into a seated pose, I'm facing you, but feel free to face whatever direction you're able to face. And if you're not comfortable sitting right on the floor, you can always grab a blanket or a block and use this to sit upon, especially if you find that maybe your low back is a little tight, that maybe your spine is a little bit more rounded. This elevates you so that you can feel a little bit taller, a little bit longer through the spine. And just take a moment to connect with your breath and your body. So whether that means you close your eyes or you just shift your gaze towards the tip of your nose. Maybe your hands are resting in your lap over the knees. Feel free to create any sort of mudra with your fingers, thumbs connecting to one of your various fingers or several. Maybe even taking a hand over the chest, your heart, and maybe one over the belly. And just hear the sound of that breath moving. We pause and slow down. Allowing ourselves to reset. Allowing ourselves to reconnect. Feel your body melting deep into the earth. Noticing where the breath begins to move in the body, maybe into the lungs, maybe into the belly. You observe the sound of the breath. Maybe it's loud and audible, or perhaps it's quiet. And let go of any excess tension that you carry. Let the stress, the weight of this world melt away from the crown of your head down through the fingers, down into your toes. And see if you can listen to the tempo of each breath that you take. Maybe you add a pause, a slight retention at the bottom and at the top of each breath. Maybe it's an inhale to the count of 3 or 4, with a pause at the top and an exhale to the count of 3 or 4. The pause at the bottom. And then you just listen to the sound of the breath. Maybe you hold on to your knees, flipping your palms down so that the fingers can clasp the bottom edges of your thighs, your knees. Just take a moment to gently find a twist. Maybe dropping a shoulder down. Noticing how it feels to create some movement through the spine. Maybe you take a little deeper. Just noticing how your body and your breath connect. Not making any sort of expectations, just kind of feeling the movements. And then from here, start to circle the rib cage over the hips. Maybe you find that as you pull forward, it's a natural inclination to inhale, and as you exhale, you round back, hollowing out the body. And inhale as your heart presses forward, your lungs expand, and exhale as you collapse back. And inhale as you press forward, and exhale as you round back. And you continue moving your body just like this, going as slowly, going as shallow or as deeply as you'd like. Breath in and a breath out, taking it to the opposite direction. Feel free to open your eyes at any point in time to find whatever it is that you see. Take it through just a few more times. Maybe for you, if a circle doesn't work, feel free to just simply move forward and back. And then when you're ready, rise up into neutral. Maybe from here, the legs stay bent. If you'd like one leg to stay long, feel free to extend one leg out with the opposite knee up to the sky. Or maybe you can bring the feet in and bend them. The right hand reaches back behind you. And from here, you take your left elbow around the right thigh. And inhale as you grow tall through the spine. Pressing your right hand to the floor. If you need to use a block, feel free to use the block. And anchor it down beneath your palm. And you grow tall. You grow tall. And then as you exhale, take a little twist in towards the knee that is up to the ceiling. Feeling your spine stretching long. Feeling your sit bones rooting down. The shoulders melt away from the ears. You're hugging your knee towards your chest. Gazing towards the right shoulder. On the next inhale, come back to center, and then we take it to the other side. From here, again, maybe one knee is bent towards the ceiling. The opposite leg can be nice and long, but you feel yourself crossing your legs. This time, the right elbow is hooking around the left thigh, the left hand behind your back, anchored to the floor. And inhale, you grow tall through the spine. And you're flying that twist, gazing towards that back shoulder. And see if you can stay tall and long rather than letting your head shift downwards. See if you can open your heart, widening your collarbones. And then once again, from here, come back to center. And this time, shift onto your hands and knees. Your hands just below your shoulders, your knees just beneath your hips. And inhale as you drop your belly, you lift the gaze. And exhale as you round the spine, you let the head fall forward. Just like this, and inhale as you drop the belly. Make sure that your palms are just beneath your shoulders. And then exhale to round. So rather than shifting forward and back for now, just feel yourself simply articulating through each vertebra in your spine. That's each backbone, each joint that's there in your backside. And inhale and exhale. Taking this through a few times, feel free to take some side bends. You guys know that this is your chance to really feel the connection with your body. Maybe you circle down, maybe you come up. If you'd like to come into a cobra, feel free to shift your hands forward and let the hips melt down, the shoulders rolling back. So take this into your own hands just for a moment. And allow your body and your breath to move together. So again, no expectations, no judgment, just allowing each thing, each part of yourself to really come down into this space, into this mat. And then when you're ready, come down to your elbows. So one of my favorite stretches here, with your hands maybe relaxing forward, or if you would like to stand your palms, feel free to. The left leg extends back, the toes tucking under. As you push the heel back, finding a nice deep stretch through the calf. Press into your big toe. Notice how that feels. And then you shift the weight into your middle toes and into your pinky toes. Maybe from here you shift your hips from side to side. Maybe you push yourself back. If you need to grip the front of your mat, feel free to grip the front of your mat. But take that nice deep stretch. Feel it through the back of the leg, through the calf, the back of the knee, the hamstring. Imagine that here you're supporting this stretch by engaging the top of your thigh. And you're lifting the back of the knee up to the sky. Feel free from here to shift your left leg over to the right edge. And maybe take a little bend. Bringing the knee back under the hip. We take it to the other side. The right leg extends, the toes tuck under as you push the heel back. And you shift the weight from side to side, pressing through the big toe, shifting the weight to the pinky toe and back again. Lifting through the back of the knees, stretching through the back of the legs, the calf, the hamstrings. Maybe from here, you again shift your hips from side to side. Shift the weight from toe to toe. Maybe you can cross the leg over to the other side, finding a nice deep stretch. A little side bend. And then you bring the knee back under the hip. And this time, allow the arms to stretch nice and long. Keeping the hips high over the knees. This is called melting heart pose. Now you can rest on the top of your forehead, you can rest on your chin, you can rest on your cheek, but feel as if you can stretch your arms out nice and long. Now if it's unavailable for you to stretch the arms here, maybe it's tight through the underside of the armpits, through that serratus anterior, maybe you bend at the elbows, and that's okay. Maybe from here instead your hands reach back, and you rest on your cheek, just letting yourself melt down. When you're ready from here, take a moment to sink your hips down, coming into your child's pose. Now in child's pose, feel free to let the toes touch, to let the knees open, to let your belly melt between your thighs. And feel yourself, your breath moving. Maybe you feel the width of your ribs opening into your inner thighs. Maybe it's your belly, the arms stretching nice and long. On the next inhale, rise up to your hands and knees. Palms are flat, fingers space wide. From here, tuck your toes under, and as you exhale, send the hips up. A downward facing dog, you create that anchoring upside down V. And you pedal the heels down and back, and you shake your head yes and no, and you feel yourself pressing down through the palms, through the knuckles, through the spaces around the lines of your palm. Shake your head yes, relax the back of your neck. Shake your head no, relax the sides of your neck. And from here, your gaze is at your toes, maybe to your knee, maybe to your navel, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if at any point in time you need to come down to your hands and knees, come down to your hands and knees. From here, the palms are flat, and you feel the space around the arms, allowing your chest to melt down deeper towards the thighs, pulling the belly in tightly. And again, if you need to bend the knees, let the knees bend in order to anchor your palms down and stretch through the spine. Shake your head again, yes and no. And then from here, maybe you soften the knees and you begin to walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. You arrive into a forward fold. Inhale, maybe you lengthen up halfway. If you need to use your blocks here, feel free to use your blocks to help elevate your chest, lengthening through the heart. As you exhale, melt down. This time, take your left hand to the outside of the right hand. And then we're going to bend the left knee as you inhale and open out to the side, nice and wide. So let me show you from this perspective. The left hand to the outside of the right thigh or the calf, and you inhale, leaning in towards that right side, bending the left knee. As you exhale, take it to the other side, the right hand to the outside edge of the calf. You bend the right knee and inhale, open and broaden through that heart. Left fingertips reaching up to the sky. As you exhale, lower yourself down. Hang yourself heavy, nice and low. Let the knees bend. And then begin to roll up, nice and slow. Maybe you take a few breaths to roll up all the way to a standing pose, stretching the arms up as you inhale. Maybe you grab your left wrist and you side into the right. And inhale as you sweep up to center, and exhale to the left. Now on the next inhale, reach up nice and tall. Brace your palms behind your back. Interlace your fingers like you're creating a little prayer. And then maybe heel toe your feet a little wider. And then from here, we open the heart, stretching the palms back and down. The chest lifts, your gaze to the sky. As you exhale, feel free to bend the knees, bend at the hips, and begin to round down. Now, as you become comfortable, feel free to stretch the legs a little longer. If you need to release the hands at any point, feel free to do so. And then eventually we all release our hands and we lift up halfway.
Stretching long through the spine, you exhale and melt down. Again, the left fingertips, the outside of the right calf, a bend to the left knee. As you inhale and sweep your right arm open to the sky. Now as you do this, see if you can create a long space through the collar, reaching nice and wide as if you're trying to hug a tree. As you exhale, take the right hand to the outside of the left calf. And again, an inhale, we open nice and wide through the opposite side. As you exhale, lower back down. Again, soften the knees, inhale, you rise up. Maybe it's a couple of breaths to come all the way up to the top. You reach your arms up to the sky. You can take whatever variation of a side bend or even taking a twist if that's what you'd like. So I'm not going to be picky about how you choose to come into your body. It's just your way of finding a stretch. We move our spine in 6 directions. Extension and flexion. Binding your hands behind the hips. Exhale, forward fold. We twist to the right. We twist to the left. And we bend from side to side. So however it is that you choose to take this, feel free to take this into your own hands. Left hand to the right leg. And inhale, trying to open your heart nice and wide. As you exhale, take it to the other side. If the top hand is uncomfortable or it's maybe not comfortable through the neck to lift the arm up, bring your hand back behind you or to your hip, and that helps to alleviate some of the tension that you might feel through the neck and spine. Forward fold, and again, rise up nice and tall, taking as many breaths as you need to come all the way up, and then you take your side bend, you take your twist. An inhale brings you back to center, and an exhale to the other side. Another inhale as you open tall, and an exhale, you bind your hands behind the back. Again, feel free to move at your own pace. Opening your chest on the inhale, and you let yourself melt down softly and slowly on your exhale. Take it through, maybe once more, maybe twice more. Whatever you have the time for. Taking your time if you need it. Being meaningful with every move that you make. Being mindful. Feel free to come into child's pose at any point in time. If you find that you're nearing that forward fold, go ahead and hang out there. Feel free to take it and let yourself collapse down. Feel free to hang heavy like a weeping willow. Feel free to hang limp like a rag doll. And then once we all arrive into that forward fold, inhale, lift up halfway, stretching long to the spine. Feel again your spine lengthening nice and long. The chest is open. If you need to bend your knees, let your knees bend to help lengthen through that backside. The belly is bracing nice and tight. So this is such an important pose, allowing ourselves to feel the back muscles actually engaging rather than sinking down. You're resisting defying gravity, lengthening nice and tall. Using your hands as almost an anchoring point, we kind of lever ourselves up. As you exhale, plant the hands down. Step the feet back, high plank. Now taking this through Vinyasa, we'll take it really slow. The palms are flat, the fingers are spaced wide. And again, your hands are just beneath the shoulders. If you need to come down to your knees, come down to your knees just like so. Otherwise, maybe take a cat-cow, or as you exhale, lower down to the earth, nice and slow. And inhale here, you let the toes roll back, the shoulders pull into your side, lifting nice and tall. And then exhale, come into your child's pose. Down into your hips and into your heels. Nice and low. Let your arms relax, let your shoulders relax. Again, tune into that breath. And inhale, maybe you count 3 or 4 seconds. You pause at the top and you exhale, you count 3 to 4 seconds. Continue to move just like this and inhale through the nose and exhale. Again, inhale through the nose and then exhale. Another inhale. And another exhale. With the arms stretched out nice and long. On your next inhale, rise up to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. As you exhale, send the hips up. Now from here, starting at the top of the mat, you soften the knees and you exhale, step forward. From here, as you inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, and lift the arms up overhead. Now, as you're coming into your chair pose, let your hips sink back ever so slightly. The belly pulls in, so imagine that you're bracing yourself like you're trying to flex your abs. And then you're squeezing your inner thighs slightly inward. Your pelvic floor slightly comes upward. And you're grounding down through the soles of your feet, but you're lifting tall through the crown of your head. Now, whether your arms extend out nice and long, coming into a chair pose, or maybe your palms connect together with the thumbs to your heart, it's up to you. Now, if you find that you're here, maybe you find that your upper back or your mid-back kind of lifts up, then try to drop your shoulder blades down. Try to open your heart. Maybe that means that rather than having long, outstretched arms, your elbows bend a little bit to help open up the front of your bodies, because we're not trying to cave or concave our body forward, but rather we're trying to press our heart forward and stay strong through the soles of our feet, through the thighs. As you exhale, forward fold. On the next inhale, lift up halfway. As you exhale, plant the hands. Now, as you plant the hands, feel free, if you have your blocks, to use your blocks instead. Step the left foot back. So one foot extends back. Now from here, see if you can stretch both legs long. And this is our pyramid pose. So you can have a shorter stance, you can have a longer stance. If your hands are down to the floor, feel free to let your hands rest down to the floor. So I'm going to use the blocks to help you guys show the length of the spine here. Now let the shoulders square up towards the top of the mat. Push your right hip back slightly. And your left hip, the one that's attached to the back leg, push it forward. And see if you can grow a little bit taller. Nice and long. Now from here, lower the back knee down, bending the front knee. From here, we sink the hips low. So if you have the blocks, you can actually grow taller through the spine, and that might help you drop your hips down a little deeper. We find a deep stretch here through that front hip flexor. Through the hip flexor, we find the heart may press forward. Rather than feeling the shoulders lifting up or the shoulder blades lifting off the back, see if you can flatten the shoulder blades into your spine. And then as you exhale, sink your hips back. You can come into a high seated split where your hips are up over the knees, the front leg is nice and long. The toes can be pointed forward, or you can flex them up to deepen the back of the leg, to deepen the stretch. Or you can sink back into your heel and come into a deeper seated split. Now when you're ready, we're going to shift forward. And again, whether you use your blocks or not, we step to the top of the mat, lifting up halfway to the Ardha Uttanasana. Now as you exhale, plant the hands, step the right leg back. And again, you're stepping back so that maybe your knee is somewhere over the ankle. And that gives you a nice little gauge of where it is to be. And then you stretch your legs long. Now, if it's uncomfortable for you to have your legs long, that's okay. Let the knees bend. If you need to step your back foot forward just a little bit closer to have a more comfortable stretch, feel free to do that as well. But just making sure that you adjust your legs when you go down into your kneeling crescent lunge. Now from here, again, the front hip, whichever one is in front, tries to push back as the back hip tries to push forward. Squaring your hips more towards the top edge of the mat. See if you can drive down through the heels, see if you can lengthen the crown of the head. And then when you're ready, bend the front knee and lower the back knee down, a kneeling crescent lunge. Again, you press the hips forward and roll the shoulders back. And if you can get a little deeper, get a little deeper. If you need to, you can bring your palms to your knees. And if you'd like to extend it up higher, let the arms reach up nice and tall. Again, all those options are great. The most important part is getting this lower half of the body more stable and secure. As you exhale, sink your hips back. We lengthen the front leg, noticing how that feels, noticing the shape of this leg, noticing the position of the hips, whether the toes point forward or whether the foot flexes up will determine the intensity through that stretch in the back of the front leg. You can sit high on the hip or high up over the knee, or sink your hips down towards your back heel. Again, whatever feels good for you. You can go low, you can stay high. When you're ready, walk your hands forward and step to the top of the mat. Again, you inhale and lengthen up halfway. And as you exhale, you melt down. And from here, bend the knees, sink the hips, and inhale to stretch the arms up overhead. Now maybe from here you can grab your elbows. Again, maybe from here your palms are together. Maybe from here the arms are stretched long, but the elbows are bent. Whatever feels good for you. And let your eyes close. And yes, it's maybe more difficult. Maybe you tap into the muscles and what it is that you feel. Notice the sensation coursing through the body. You notice the breath. You notice every burning, every fiber that there is. Drawing awareness to that. And maybe sink a little deeper. And again, your breath moves slowly. And then as you exhale, forward fold. And the next inhale, lift up halfway. As you exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back. Again, using your block or not. This time I'll use no blocks. We, again, press the hips forward. So if you find that your hips are more open to the long edge of the mat, push your back hip forward and your front hip back. We go a little bit longer to the spine. If you need to bend a knee or lift your heel, feel free to do so until you're comfortable driving everything down and driving your spine a little longer. On an exhale, lower the back knee to the earth, bending the front knee. And inhale, kneeling crescent lunge, arms up to the sky. Now let me pivot and show you from the front. Taking a side bend, you can use your block or bring your hand to your hip. Now, whichever leg is in front, that one will be down. That hand will be down and will lift up through the opposite side. Up and over, finding a nice deep stretch. An inhale to lift yourself back to center, and an exhale you sink low, high or low through the seated split. You can even sit on a block if you need to, so use that as an option. When you're ready, we take it back to the top, and we step forward. And inhale to lift up halfway, stretching along through the spine. As you exhale, plant the hands, step the opposite leg back. And again, we grow tall. See if you can drive down through the heels. See if you can lengthen the legs. But again, know that that's not a necessity. Feel it through the body first. And sometimes we have to slowly, gradually accept where our body is before it can go to where we want it to. The hips square up towards the top edge of the mat, relaxing your shoulders, relax your breath. Then from there, lower the back knee to the ground. And inhale, we come into kneeling crescent lunge. Whether the hands are to a block, whether the hands are to the hips, to the knee, maybe up to the sky. And we take an optional side bend, bending towards the front knee, towards the direction
of that front knee. Or towards that side, I should say. On the next inhale, back up. And then as you exhale, sink your hips down and back, whether it's low or whether it's high. The front leg lengthens a little bit or maybe a lot. Again, listening to your body. We take this nice and slow, nice and deep. No expectations. And again, no judgment. When you're ready, we walk the hands forward and we step to the top once again. And inhale to lift up halfway and exhale to forward fold. And then again, from here, bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, lift the arms up, soften the elbows, palms together, wherever you choose to be. The hips sink back, soften your gaze. Relax your cheeks, relax your eyes, relax the shoulders. The more intense you find this stretch, or this pose, this asana, the more intense maybe the tension through the shoulders, through the traps becomes so relaxed, everything down. Let the weight sink into your feet. Feel the chest opening, feel the lungs open, lengthening, maybe gazing up, maybe gazing forward. We just breathe. Again, feel free to offer up whatever modifications you need. Maybe you close your eyes and simply notice the breath. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. As you exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back. And again, strong through this pyramid pose. And it can be long and extended, it can be a shorter pose. Relax the shoulders down. And then from here, when you're ready, we bend the knees. One knee comes down, and then the arms may lift up, maybe again to your blocks, maybe to your knee, maybe to your hip. And you can take a side bend as you exhale in one direction, finding a deep stretch through the side of the torso, nice and long. And inhale to lift back up, and an exhale, you sink back, high or low. Toes forward to soften the stretch, toes pointing up to deepen the stretch. And then from here, you walk your hands forward, you can use your blocks, step to the top, and you lift up halfway. And then you plant the hands, and then take the opposite leg back. Again, stretching nice and long. See if you can square up the hips, relax the shoulders, grow taller through the spine. Now, rather than just feeling it, just feeling what you're feeling, see if you can try to encourage your awareness to the front of your chest. Noticing whether the collar is rounded or bowing so that your chest and your shoulders are rolling forward, or whether you're stretching your collarbones wider and then pulling your shoulders back so that your shoulder blades flatten. And then once again, bend the back knee, coming into your kneeling crescent lunge. Press your hips forward. Maybe you add a side bend. Again, stretching through the torso, nice and long. Gazing up or gazing down, depends on how you feel through the neck. An inhale brings you back up to center, and an exhale allows you to sink back. Again, toes pointing forward to soften the back of the thighs. Toes flexing up to intensify the stretch. And then when you're ready, rather than stepping forward, you shift to the top of the mat or shift forward so that your palms can plant down. And then from here, step the front leg back, high plank. And then again, from here, maybe move slowly downward, lowering yourself to your belly. And inhale as you back bend. And then exhale into your child's pose. So we stop here for just a moment. Let your body, let your breath all come back together once again. Noticing how well connected you are to the space that you're currently in. A breath in, breath out. And again, hear the sound of that breath. Encouraging yourself to count each second of each breath. And inhale to the count of 3 or 4 with a pause at the top. And exhale to the count of 3 or 4 with a pause at the bottom. Using that way of retaining the breath to help create space. Now when you're ready, come back into your downward facing dog. Now again, if downward dog isn't comfortable for you, feel free to instead start from all fours, tabletop position. Now what that would look like is the right leg would extend back, just like this, instead of through downward facing dog. So feel free to take whichever variation works for your body today. From downward facing dog or from tabletop, inhale, the right leg rises. And then you take a bend to the knees, stack your hips open. Continue gazing down towards the left big toe if you're in downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts back up to the sky. As you exhale, step the foot through between the palms. Now from here, lower the back knee down. Lower the hips first, so bring the hips down. Lower the back knee. So we are kneeling down into our pose. And from here, open the right arm up to the sky. So this is a kneeling dragonfly twist. Now rather than just twisting, feel free to maybe reach back with your right palm. See if your knee is comfortable enough that you can flex your leg up towards you and maybe take a bind. This may not happen. And if you find that your hips are lifting up to find the bind, then simply keep your hips down and just kind of reach for that foot. Eventually you'll be able to find that bind, but keeping this stretch nice and long is so important for your body. When you're ready, lower the hands. Now from here, tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up off the ground. The right hand stays just to the inside of your thigh or your calf. You can use a block. As you inhale, the back toes open and your left arm reaches up to the sky. This is your triangle pose. So it's okay to use a block. It's okay to rest on your shin if you need to. Try not to do it so that you're really letting your shoulder melt down or like shrug it up towards your ear. So keep the space around your neck really long and open. And from here, we find a deeper stretch. The belly hugs in tight. You're creating length through the front of your chest, not letting yourself hang down low. So if you're gazing and you can see your back toes, see if you can gaze in front, thinking about where the arches of your foot is, or the arch of your right foot, the front foot. And creating a line and just letting your eyes gaze towards that invisible line in front of your foot, or maybe just the fingers. Now from here, bend the right knee, and then lift the right arm up to the sky. This is our reverse warrior. The left hand either behind your hip, maybe reaching towards the right pocket, or maybe extending down towards the back thigh. We find a deep stretch through the right side body. As you exhale, lower the hands to the floor. From here, step the front leg back, high plank. Squeeze the thighs in, you exhale and lower yourself down. And inhale to back bend. Rolling the shoulders back, you broaden through the heart. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Your hips to the sky, the head hangs heavy. Nice and long through the spine, maybe the knees bend. On the next inhale, the left leg lifts up. As you exhale, take a bend to the knees, stack your hips open. Your gaze is still at the right big toe. On the next inhale, lift it up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your foot through between your palms. Now again, from here, sink the hips low. Lower the back knee down. We come into this kneeling dragonfly twist. And inhale to open to the left arm. If you need to place your palm on the floor on a block instead, feel free to do so. If you're able to reach back, reach back. If you're able to find a bend to the back knee and take a bind to your foot, feel free to do so. Again, just listen to your body, listen to your breath. No expectations and no judgment. And then from here, release the foot down. And then from here, tuck your back toes under. We lengthen the legs. The left hand stays down as the right arm reaches up and open, nice and wide. So again, from here, we're creating some space around the neck. Rather than shrugging the shoulders up or letting the weight drop down, we're lifting. So take the right hand and lift it high. Again, if you have issues with the neck or the shoulders, bring your hand to your hip instead. And rather than looking down, which rounds your spine, let your gaze shift forward. Let your shoulders pull back. On the next inhale, bend the front knee, and then reach the left arm up to the sky. Maybe the right hand reaches into your left pocket. Maybe it anchors down towards the back thigh. Whatever feels good for you. That front knee is bent deeply. As you exhale, lower the hands to the floor. Step the front leg back. And again, high. And you lower down slowly. If this vinyasa doesn't work for you, change it. Do a cat-cow. Come down to your knees. Skip it all together. From downward facing dog, inhale, the right leg rises. As you exhale, take a bend to the knee, stack your hips. Inhale, the right leg comes up again. As you exhale, step it through. And then lower the knee, sink the hips, and inhale to twist, and maybe you find a bind. And then when you're ready, lower the back knee, lift and lengthen the legs, and we come into your triangle pose. From triangle pose, bend the front knee, and sweep the front hand up to the sky. Now from here, as you exhale, bring the right arm in front of you. And let the left arm extend out above you. And then we extend the legs nice and long, coming up into star, bringing the hands, the palms to the hips. Let the toes turn in slightly. And then exhale, just reach down so that you fold halfway. So let me show you from this angle, just halfway down. Now from here, bind your hands behind your back. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Draw your palms together. And then from here, sink down. Fold all the way to the earth. Release your hands if you need to release the hands. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. The hands connect to the floor. And we take a little bend to the left knee. If you need to use your block to give you a little bit more height, feel free to do so. So we bend the left knee. And inhale to lift high, and exhale to bend the right knee. And then from here, we move to the back of the mat. The left leg lifts up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your shin behind the wrist. So whether the foot stays parallel or whether the foot anchors back a little bit deeper is up to you. Let yourself sink down through the hips, and maybe from here the shoulders roll back. Maybe you allow yourself to come down to your elbows, to grow a little bit longer through the spine, to feel as if the front of your body is rooting down a little deeper. And come into our pigeon pose. And you can pause here if you need to use that block. If you find that your hips are kind of shifting over to one side, anchor the block underneath your thigh, underneath your back hip. Whatever feels good for you. The shoulders melt down, you soften your gaze, you broaden your chest. Maybe come all the way to the floor. And then from here, plant the palms down, tuck your back toes under, send the front leg back,
And again, you can take whatever variation of the vinyasa that works for you. And you arrive back into your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, the left leg lifts up on the inhale. As you exhale, bend the knees, stack your hips open. And inhale to lift back up, and exhale to step it through. And we sink down through the hips, and we lower down through the knee. And we sweep open, nice and wide for the left arm. And we see if we can take a bind. And then from here, we come into your triangle pose. So we lift the back knee, lengthening the legs, open the arms nice and wide. And again, if it bothers your neck or your shoulders, hand to your hip. From here, bending the front knee. We stretch the bottom hand up to the sky this time. Reversing the warrior. As you exhale, bring the left arm forward. Maybe the right arm up to the sky. And then inhale, rise up, nice and tall. And then exhale, hands to your hips. And we fold halfway down. Now from here, binding your hands behind your back, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, we open the chest. Exhale, melt down. Releasing the hands to the floor. Lift up halfway. Take a bend to the right knee first, and maybe you go down a little deeper. Maybe you sink down so that your foot can flip up through that long leg. You can take a bind. You can let yourself relax. And then we come back to center. Shifting the toes back down and forward. Maybe the opposite toes flip up. So again, letting yourself really open, really stretch. And then from here, bring your palms back down to the floor. Take yourself to the opposite side. So now we're back at the top of the mat. The right leg lifts up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your shin forward. So they're resting behind the wrist. And again, we come into that pigeon pose. Now notice that rather than bringing my foot forward, for me to stretch a little deeper, a little longer, I'm extending and walking my back leg back a little bit more. So it helps me to deepen my stretch without compromising that front knee. I'm not trying to create a little bit more tension so that the ligaments of that joint are compromised. I'm just feeling it through the hips, allowing the weight of my body to sink down. Focusing on the breath, and inhale, and exhale. Maybe even going a little lower. Maybe coming down to the earth. Again, use the weight or use the block. If you find that your weight is shifting over to one side, you anchor it down beneath your back thigh. Palms down to the floor, tuck your back toes under, send the front leg back, and once again, high plank, and you lower down. And inhale as you take your back bend, and exhale, downward facing dog on child's pose. Now come down to your knees. And kind of sink back into your feet, to your hips, noticing how this feels. If you need to sit on a block, feel free to sit on a block. Now, feel free to make a little bit more space if you need to. If you need to sit on a block, feel free to get it settled just between your feet and just underneath your hips. From here, find your hands behind the back. If you don't have a block, feel free to modify this pose wherever you feel comfortable, however you feel comfortable. So again, we're opening the chest, we're opening the heart. Now feel it through the sternum. Feel the muscles stretching right here. The muscles between your ribs and your intercostals. You feel the cartilage connecting to your sternum. You feel the collarbone stretching a little wider. Rather than pulling your head forward, see if you can gently pull your head back. Imagine that if you had a ponytail, somebody were to just slightly pull it back. And then from here, as you exhale, release your hands and then round yourself or wrap your arms around your back. And then just round yourself forward so that your chest and your chin try to connect. And then on the next inhale, open yourself up nice and wide, the heart presses forward. And we're just going to take the arms and wrap them around the opposite direction. So instead of the left arm on top, it's now the right. And from here, open, open, open. And then as you exhale, surrender yourself down into your child's pose. If you have your block underneath you, feel free to move that out of the way. You can sweep your hands back towards your toes, letting your crown, letting your forehead melt to the earth. And then when you're ready, rise up nice and tall. So from here, let your legs extend out in front of you. Let your legs extend out in front of you. Bring your right foot to your inner left thigh. And then your left leg will extend nice and long. Pointing the toes up to the ceiling, we flex through the foot, the ankle, so that we find a deeper stretch through the back of your leg. Now from here, an inhale maybe helps you lift your arms up. And exhale, fold you forward. You can grab hold of your ankle, your calf, your feet. If you have a strap or a towel, feel free to wrap that around the base of your foot and allow your belly to melt a little deeper towards your thigh first. Maybe your chest towards your knee, the crown of the head towards the toes. Letting yourself breathe and soften and feel. And if you find that you're close enough, you can maybe rest your forehead all the way down. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And the next inhale, you rise up. And then you take it to the other side. From here, your left foot connects to the inside of your right thigh. You lengthen tall, you stretch out through the leg. And inhale, you grow taller through the spine. Maybe lift the arms up to the sky as you exhale. Let yourself melt forward. And again, we're trying to feel as if you're smooshing your belly towards the thigh rather than creating a gap here through this space. See if you can try to sandwich this together. And this may not happen right away. I think that many times the goal here for some people is just to reach. But eventually you get to the point where you can really try to lengthen a little deeper. You can try to grow a little longer. And then once you can get that, you'll feel maybe a different stretch, a different way to kind of come into this pose. So 3 breaths. Rise up nice and tall. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees open wide. If you need to use your block to help anchor down through the lower half of your legs, feel free to do so. You can also, instead of having your feet really close to your hips, you can walk them out a little further away until you find yourself comfortable. Same thing here, we're going to take a fold. But rather than feeling the belly smushing towards the center of our thighs, feel free to round a little bit and just let your arms relax. You can also use a block. If you have some space between your legs or your feet, you can rest your head on the block. Now for some of you who may already be more advanced, you can swing your legs or bring your arms underneath your legs like this, coming into a tortoise pose. Maybe you wrap your hands towards the hips and allow your forehead to melt towards your feet. Again, there are different variations of this pose, different intensities, different modifications. And then when you're ready, roll yourself up. Now coming down onto your bottom, and hopefully you guys have a block in your hands. We're going to support our bridge pose using the block. So from here, plant the feet down about hip to shoulder width apart. And then when you're ready, shoulder blades tuck under. This is so important so that your shoulders don't feel as if they're rounding and lifting off of the back or off of the floor. We tuck them under and open the chest, so everything kind of drapes open here through the collar. Now, pressing deeply down to the ground, lift the hips up. Sorry, my speaker is acting crazy. Lift the hips up, and then if you have a block, you can place it underneath your sacrum, and that's where your hips and your spine connect. So you can let it rest here. If you want it a little higher, feel free to lift it up a little higher. I don't normally recommend the highest setting because this is the least stable. You find that the weight height is a little bit wobblier. So find yourself in a nice, comfortable pose. And if this isn't comfortable for your back, it's okay. You can always try to adjust the placement of the block. Or if it doesn't work for you, just simply hold that bridge. And then when you're ready to come down, you can come down. But we start when we come down from the top of the spine. And you try to let yourself melt down between the shoulder blades, to the mid-back, to the low back, until everything relaxes. And if you're holding this bridge pose with the support of your block, feel free to pause here for a little bit. You can always extend the legs if you need to, if you'd like to. Just noticing how that feels. You can maybe bring the feet to the edge of the mat and collapse the knees in, or collapse the feet together with the knees opening out. Another option here that I find is nice sometimes is if I'm stable to keep the legs up. And it kind of adds a little bit more weight to my sacrum if sometimes I feel like that SI joint is a little tight. I'm just kind of gently moving from side to side, but only if you feel comfortable and secure enough to apply this to your practice. Now when you're ready, planting the feet firmly to the ground, lift the hips up, removing the block, slowly melt down the top of the spine, down until your hips and your glutes touch. And you give yourself a loving squeeze, a gentle rock from side to side. Maybe from here you circle the knees a few times in one direction, and then you take it to the other side. Now we go into our final twist. From here, the arms can open wide again. Your shoulder blades are flat towards the back, towards the floor, and then you maybe take your knees to one side. Now another option here is to cross the legs over and twist, to extend one leg over and twist, or maybe even as you take both legs to one side, both legs can extend. Now if you have your block, you can use this as well. So one option here is if your knees don't touch and your shoulders come up, you can support the weight of your leg with the block so it doesn't feel so intense and so heavy. You just let yourself relax. Maybe even if your arms aren't comfortable out, you can bring your hands in. Maybe gazing towards the opposite direction of your twist. When you're ready to come out of this pose, gently do so. Giving yourself a chance to straighten up your spine, to hug yourself in. And of course, if you need to bump your hips over to the other side before taking a twist, feel free to do so. Again, whatever feels good for you. Use this practice as a way of letting go. To mindfully soften, to mindfully breathe. To mindfully create our own state of mind. And we call this a practice. And the practice doesn't just apply to what is happening to our body. The practice comes from within. And we can practice creating a more stressful environment for ourselves, and it becomes so natural, so easy. And then we can also practice creating a more relaxing environment in our own mind, creating a little more calm, creating a little more peace. So as you tune in, what is it that you practice? What are your intentions? What are your thoughts? You come back to center when you're ready, letting yourself find a way to reset. From here, you rock from side to side, maybe a happy baby, opening your knees wide. Opening your thighs. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. If you need to place a blanket or something underneath your head as a pillow, feel free to do so. And then when you're ready, extend yourself down into the earth, finding your final place of rest. When you close your eyes, you take a deep breath and you pause. And you let go. Again, an inhale through the nose with a nice pause at the top. And with your breath out, you soften into the earth. You soften into your body. You soften into the space. Create your own practice. And this is where it begins.
to move your fingers. Start to move your toes. Roll the wrists, roll the ankles, let the arms stretch back behind you, lengthening through the limbs and the torso. You exhale, hug your knees in towards your spine, or towards your chest, towards your heart, rocking from side to side. We come to rest over to one side in a fetal pose. Maybe our heads resting in our arms. And you press up into a simple seat. From this simple seat, we come into the seated pose where we just take a moment of gratitude, a moment of giving thanks, a moment to reflect, to notice how this practice felt in our bodies, in our minds, in our heart. Maybe even though we're distantly apart, we're not in the same room physically, we are still connected, we're still together. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. We're all forever connected. Namaste. So I want to thank you guys all for coming to this practice with me. I really appreciate every one of you, and I know that some of you guys read the post that I created yesterday, and I really want to thank you guys all so much. There were so many people that reached out, that offered their support, and I truly appreciate that, and I think that you guys are all so wonderful, and I miss all of you guys so much. It really means so much to me that there's such a huge community, and I know that there are other people out there who are struggling, and I think that we can help each other out, and hopefully that you guys all see that this is just we can create our own karma. So I appreciate all of you, and I love you, and I miss y'all, and I hope that you and I can get together again sometime soon. So anyway, thank you guys all so much.